This is the SONICast, where artists discuss their passion for creating music. We discuss everything about music creation, from the tech needed for success to music education. So if you love making beats, film scoring, or creating sample packs, this is the show for you, where you'll regularly hear from experts in their field discuss their experiences and learn what makes them highly sought-after professionals. Today's guest is Daniel Lara. Daniel is the co-founder of Sonic Productions and one of the lead music track creators for the team. He has an extensive music and teaching educational background, as well as a lifelong history playing in churches, leading bands, and much, much more. He has music tracks placed with television and radio advertisers. The interview takes place at his studio. So for the first few years of your teaching career, you really didn't do much in teaching music.
No.
It was more wrestling.
So it's one of those things where, once
control.
again, this is why
Interesting.
it's bad to put people in boxes, because at that
Right.
point, no one knew me as a musician.
That's a
The
great
only
point.
reason they knew of me playing music was because of the side projects that were going on at that time, aside from teaching. So everyone at school, the staff, knew of my musical abilities because of things I was inviting them to outside of the school setting.
I see. Okay.
And the same thing in high school. You know, it was in high school, no one knew that I was a musician. And it was, aside from the fact that I was inviting them to different performances that were going on outside.
Sure.
But yeah, that's why I think it's you have to be very careful about putting people in boxes, because, you know, the minute you meet someone, obviously first impressions are big, but you generally place someone in a box and kind of say, hey, you're the sax guy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And from here on out, Dan,
That's all
you're going to be
gonna
the
know.
sax guy.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
But Dan can do a ton more stuff aside
Right.
from playing sax.
right,
Like conduct this podcast interview.
right. One of the
And
many
do
talents I have.
business and be a great businessman. And do music and other things within the music field as well, and be a leader and a father. And
So as you're taking this time then of teaching, you know, you're doing some music. What kind of side projects were you doing? What kind of music stuff were you're inviting people to?
So I was involved in different things out there, aside from school and being part of different things at school, little ensembles, jazz combo. I was part of the male chorale there. But outside of that, I was kind of being introduced to the world of the music scene in LA and
Okay.
like the circles. So I ended up doing some, like, do you remember Promise Keepers?
Yes, I do. Oh, yes.
So I ended up doing some Promise Keepers events in Spanish, and doing sitting in at churches, at other churches, one being Christian Assemblies with Tommy Walker, and
Okay.
being in a group called Instruments Praise that opened up for different. It was like pretty much a youth music group, but we ended up opening for like a bunch of artists. One of them being Helen Baylor back in the 90s, and she was a big gospel artist in that time. But I just remember that in those instances, I would see like Paul Jackson Jr. in these bands. So we were in the same room hanging out, and there's Paul Jackson Jr. on guitar.
Wow.
And Abraham once again, Husal Mario on sax. Man, just a ton of cats, the LA scene cats, and different things, that were going on at that time. And little projects here, nothing ever huge, because I was just, once again, kind of, I guess, discovering this world.
Yes.
Because I was also breaking away from like the church. Like the church was such a big thing, and trying to get out of the church sometimes was a task, because it was like, no, we need you to be here. Like,
Right.
we need you to, you can't be missing, anyway. But that world just intrigued me. The recording world, studio world out there. and getting to do some stuff with some cool people. So,
How much recording did you do while you're in LA?
man, I want to say, I mean, it wasn't much. It
Okay.
was opportunities here and there to get some stuff recorded, and just some of the, I think some great places. There was this. We ended up doing something for actually Vineyard Music in Spanish one time.
Okay.
Recorded an album and worked in their studio, and Vineyard had an amazing studio, man. SSL board, like all the out gear that you could think of, grand piano. I mean, just a beautiful place. And shortly after that, it got torn down, like a year after that. But we're in there
Wow.
because they kind of disassembled and reallocated stuff to different.
So you did some a little bit of recording from there.
There was a little bit, but I was still pretty young, and man, I was green, and just learning what it took, and learning that quality is better than quantity, because at that point you're young, you're trying to impress, and you're trying to do too much.
I see.
Sometimes, and the whole the philosophy of less is more hasn't really penetrated your mind.
Sure.
And you're trying to do way too much and impress people, and just learning the ropes and learning what it takes.
So there was a few years of you doing, just doing a little bit of recording. You say that you were doing some teaching at the time, doing some recording. There's a whole lot of, sounds like, musical influences. What made you decide to move away from that and to where you're at here in Arizona?
So moving to Arizona was a big part of it was my wife, obviously. She was living out here in Arizona at that time. I came out for a wedding. We met. Sparks flew. She fell in love with me, convinced me to come out here. No, I'm just kidding. She listens to this, she's gonna kill me. But it was tough because everyone's trying to get to LA. As a musician, that's the place to be.
Right.
And here I was in my 20s moving away from Los Angeles, and everyone's like, "You sure? Like you're going to Phoenix of all places? Like that's not another moving to New York, Chicago,
right.
Louisiana, Tennessee. I mean, Nashville. I mean, that's other places where people would be like, okay, I could see that, but
didn't seem to be a natural progression
Phoenix,
as a musician.
Yeah, that's kind of like a downgrade from LA music scene, and so that was tough. I mean, it was in that field.
All right, this is a good spot. We'll stop to take a quick advertisement break. Hi there, I'm Dan Young, co-founder of Sonic Productions, your music production company. We partner with businesses to help you deliver your best message, professionally, elegantly, and with the power to capture your audience. Our goal is to serve you as you seek to grow your brand, whether you use Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or other mediums like podcasting or television. We'll work with you to custom tailor a song to fit your campaign, or you can visit our music licensing business, Sonica, to choose from over 100 original songs ready for licensing. Voiceover narration is also available. So when it's time to seriously consider growing your business, consider Sonic Productions to stand out. Sonic Productions. Our music, your story. Visit us at www.sonicproductions.biz to contact our team and to learn more. What year was this when you came to Arizona?
This was 2003.
Okay, in 2003.
And it was a matter of trusting God and knowing that at that point, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're within God's will, it's going to happen. It's going to catch up. If something's meant for you, it's going to happen no matter where you're at, whether you're in here or in Alaska.
Sure.
So,
was your first inclination to try to find teaching work in Arizona or the music side in Arizona somehow?
Well, work was most important. First, the most important thing for me was just to have an income to be able to move
Yeah.
and continue the progression of dating to being engaged. Actually, by that point, we were engaged already, but just, of course, providing. But, and then shortly after that, I kind of knew that I would find something, like there would be some kind of opportunity for me to be involved in out here. But yeah, work was first and foremost the most important thing for me.
So
Getting
did you immediately start teaching?
So I didn't move out. So that's the other thing. I didn't move out till I had something in line. So prior to me quitting my job in California, I had something already in line, which was a teaching, yes, a gig out here. And that one was teaching music and Spanish. So it was now the progression had continued. So it was PE and Spanish in Glendale, California. And now it was going to be music and Spanish.
Okay.
So a little half and half there.
Okay. And what school did you first started teaching at?
So that was out here in Goodyear, Arizona.
Okay.
And that was for a school that no longer is in existence. It obviously, like many private schools, some of them don't last, unfortunately.
Sure.
So, but within the 2 years that I was there, at the end of the second year I was there, I had someone come up to me saying that they had just interviewed for a position at Valley Christian High School.
Okay.
And that they knew the principal and they thought that it would be a great place for me to be at. They really enjoyed the principal and convinced me to apply. And, I was kind of reluctant because I wanted to kind of be loyal to the school, little startup school, and stick it out with them through stormy waters. And but ended up moving out to the East Valley, Chandler, and teaching at Valley Christian for the next 10 years after that.
Yeah. Okay. And that's and I started to meet you actually around this time.
Yeah, and that's when
the extravaganzas,
I met you.
and we started, just getting a chance to work together at the school. Okay, very cool.
So, and the progression went from music and Spanish at that startup school in Goodyear to being offered just to teach music now. It was like all music now at Valley Christian, which was like, all right, cool. We've finally arrived at the place where I would want to be, where it'd be just strictly music.
That's cool.
So,
and I know that you're not there now. How long years wise did you stay at Valley Christian High School?
I was at Valley for 10 years.
Okay.
From 2005 to 2015.
Okay. Wow.
So a good chunk of time.
Very cool.
And I don't know what to call it. Like, I don't know. I still remember vividly the principal saying that I was retiring from teaching, which just sounded weird.
I'm a little young for that, aren't you?
I'm like, kind of weird.
I might come back to it. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. It's just the next season. Once again. And
right. So is teaching something that you would enjoy possibly doing another chapter in your life? Or
like I wouldn't mind it. I think there's the teaching factor is always in you to pass on information to other people. That's always within you.
Okay.
And I think as an educator, I want to say it's just always, it's an innate thing to want to pass on information to other people. And this season for me has been almost kind of a collecting more info season. And maybe that will lead to another stint, but maybe not. Maybe it leads to something else that progresses from there. I don't want to say never, because once again, that's usually when it happens.
Well,
so it's like open to it.
It's like what you said earlier. You don't want to put people in a box, and you don't want to put yourself in a box. I was a teacher. I'm not a teacher anymore. And then something opens up, and you're like, oh well, what can I do? Okay, very cool.
But I feel it's progressions. It's moving on. There's a season for this, and season for that. You can't. I wouldn't feel comfortable being in the same place for a long time unless I was super sure like that's where God wanted me, and it just felt like it was time to move on.
And so prior to, of course, helping co-found Sonic Productions, you've moved away from Valley Christian High School, basically doing your own production work, right?
Right. So when I stepped down from Valley, it was to pursue the production side of it. And that's what ended up happening. Little by little, just doing some jingles, doing some production work for artists, some stuff for video, music bed, the kind of stuff. And prior to that, that's when I had my first taste of, I guess you could say, music sync side of it by doing some tracks for a friend who submitted them to a publishing company out in LA, and they got placed on TV shows.
You're right.
And that's when I was open to the world of, oh, you could make money off. Like, I didn't know there was money in this stuff. Like, I thought when, they used tracks on TV, it was like a one and done, like, oh, we'll pay you to use it, and here's your $50 and let's move on. But when I found out that there was like actual royalty money and, there's this, these waves that can kind of happen over and over financially from the music sync side, it was just like, whoa, like this is interesting. Like you could do some great stuff and get paid for it. And
what kind of venues have your music been placed? Like what kind of TV or ads?
So
would people find your stuff?
Yeah, some of the music played on Extra show on TV with Mario Lopez, and some Tyra Banks show when she had her show. Some on what's this guy? Oh man, I'll have to come back to him.
Okay.
Anderson Cooper. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Some on his show. Some jingles for like the car dealership here, local car dealership. Some stuff for artists, local artists here in Phoenix, and so different areas of the music biz or music field, I guess you could say.
Very cool. Good. Okay. So it comes full circle, understanding music, your upbringing, and very cool.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the SONICast, where artists discuss their passion for creating music. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. You can find show notes in the descriptions, as well as information to hear more from our guest. You can also visit us at www.sonicproductions.biz to license music and shop for some cool merchandise. Sonic Productions, our music, your story.